SKO load cases. Introduction. In order to formulate a SKO calculation for optimizing a design, you will need to create a simplified and abstracted model of your object's load cases. This is important in order to make sense of the calculated results. Theory. General. In SKO, a calculation consists of one or more load cases. Each load case is a separate calculation task for itself and consists of at least one force and one fixation. Different load cases are calculated separately and combined in the end for a result. Forces are vectors on a defined volume, and fixations restrict freedoms of movement of a defined volume. Based on this information, the script will solve for a topology-optimized result of the design space. In SKO, fixations and forces have to be considered in their relative relationships. This means when setting up the load case, we have to imagine our object floating in space with no points of reference. We create reference points by adding fixations. For every force vector, there must be a fixation which blocks the corresponding freedom of movement. Adding more fixations or changing the freedom of movement of the fixations impacts the result. Examples. Here are some real-world examples to get a basic understanding. A two-dimensional load case for a bottle opener includes one fixation in the z-axis at the point where the opener rotates around the cap, a downward force on the tooth and an upward force on the handle. In this example, the bottle acts as a fixation and exerts a force on the bottle opener as a reaction on the force the user exerts on the handle. For a pair of pliers, the load case looks similar, but is mirrored, as forces are exerted from both sides. In the case of a ladder, we have two fixations and one force. A person standing on a rung can be seen as a force with a downward vector. The floor limits the freedom of movement in the z-axis and rotations around the y-axis. The wall the ladder is leaned against limits the freedom of movement in the y-axis. In the case of our hook, we split the forces and fixations in two symmetrical load cases. This is because we strive for a symmetrical result. In the first load case, we define the forces on the bottom hook and define the upper hook as a fixation. And in the second load case, we define the forces on the upper hook and define the lower hook as a fixation. For both load cases, we define the main forces as a vertical pulling force, for example, exerted by a rope tied to the hook, and a horizontal force, for example, the rope trying to slip off the hook. It is important to keep in mind that the result represents no absolute truth, as the input itself is a simplification. Therefore, it is important to gain a basic understanding of what characteristics of the design are to be optimized and what might be left out. In the case of the hook, we ignore the torsional forces on the hook, which would, for example, occur when twisting the attached ropes against each other. Application. For setting up the calculation in Grasshopper, we use input volumes or curves in Rhino. Changing the size, shape and position of forces and fixations can be done in Rhino. Changing the intensity and direction of vectors and setting different freedoms of movement for the fixations can be done in Grasshopper. whereas changing the resolution and steps of your calculation may impact the fidelity of your results. You may need to vary the setup of your load cases and experiment with the effect of different settings on the outcome. In the 2D Grasshopper preset, there is also the option to set the amount of leftover material in percent. Reducing this factor leads to more filigree results. The scribble function in Grasshopper can be used to make annotations in order to keep track of your load cases. You can set up the different load cases in one file, switching between them by disconnecting and connecting them, or make a new file for each configuration.